Okay, in this section 161, I want to introduce some examples of subtraction real number. We use checkpoint number 1, page in the textbook, page 62. First three problem. 3 subtract 11. So we just used our definition. We want to only use the addition rule. We plus a negative 11. That's how we treat subtraction. Just treat it like a addition of a negative number. Larger number is negative, so we know that will be negative result. Using the absolute of larger number, subtract the small number. That will be 11 subtract 3, will be 8. Simple example here. B, 4 subtract a negative, which we call the opposite of a negative number. Opposite of an opposite. We treat it whenever you see a negative opposite of a negative number, treat it as exactly that number, 5. Okay? Now, so this part we translate as 4 plus 5. Subtract a negative number. Another way, subtract a negative, you add the positive of that number. So this becomes a straight addition. It will be 9 here. The C, example C, negative 7 subtract a negative number. Again, this is translated opposite of opposite. Become adding 2 here. Negative 7, negative number add a positive number. So in our previous section, we're going to use the larger number, decide the sign. They're going to be negative. The result will be negative. And then use 7, positive 7, subtract 2, 5, negative 5. The result will be this. So that's how we deal with these 3 examples. Next, we're going to use checkpoint number 2. Again, this is section 161. Next page 63. We're dealing with decimal. It's the same rule as we use the whole number. Negative 3.4 subtract a positive number. How are we going to deal with that? We're going to use the addition rule. Negative 3.4 add to the negative 12.6. Okay? Then we use addition rule. 2 of the negative number added together. We're going to keep the negative sign. Negative sign, right? And then add these two absolute of 3.4 and 12.6. So we're going to see the result here. That is 3.4, 12.6. Add together, you add carry 1 here, that 1, that will be 6, 16. That will be still, so for handle this problem, first you put a negative, then you will never forget about it, and then you add these two numbers. The result, put 16 here. So negative 16. Okay. Actually, this is not our checkpoint number 2. Yeah, that example, we are subtracting a negative of this number. So, negative 12.6. So for that example, so let's redo it. So negative 3.4. Subtract a negative 12.6, so we end up with negative 3.4 plus 12.6. And then these two numbers, 1 negative, 1 positive. So the larger number is positive, so you use this number, subtract this. So you're going to see 12.6 subtract 3.4. So 9.2. That will be positive 9.2 because larger number is positive 9.2. Next example, we see this the fraction. Deal with fraction. So I would like to use the presentation here. How are you going to handle this? How are you going to handle this? It's still the same rule here. two negative number added together. So you're gonna treat it like negative 3/5 plus negative 1/3. Like that. And then two negative number, you keep the negative sign. So 3/5 plus 1/3. Here we have a, you need to convert that into a same denominator. LCD 5/3 is going to be 15. Okay, 15 for both of these numbers. So for 3/5, you want to change that denominator 15. So you want to multiply by 3. The numerator multiplied by 3. There'll be 9 here. Put in here. 1/3. 1/3 you want to change into denominator 15 here. Obviously multiply by 5. Multiply by 5, that's 5 here. 5 here. Then you add these two numbers. You get 9 plus 5, 14, 15. You put your result equal 14, 15. The negative sign. That's negative 14, 15. So that's how we handle the fraction. Okay? When you do your homework, these kind of fraction, always deal with this. Use your scratch paper to convert your equivalent fraction. Okay. For the maybe we use 1 minute to do one problem. Subtract 100. Subtract. If a problem, subtract 154 from negative 35. How are we going to translate this? When you see the subtract from, always use the second number. First part you translate. Second number, negative 35. Subtract 154. That's how we do the translation process. If you do the other way, it's going to be a mistake. Okay, once you translate this, then you become negative 35, the negative number add to the negative 154. Then we apply that addition rule. Two of the same sign, you keep the sign. And then use the absolute of 35, 154, add together, 189. It'll get to be 189. The point of this problem is to introduce subtract from. So remember that. Don't make a mistake, okay? Always, this is backward, not forward, okay?